mind kind of blocked it off.
Okay, I had to push record, and I'm sorry. What did you say, Mr. Wilson? He
I
said
said so.
he approved
So
it, and I
is
forgot to push it.
yeah. I said so. Is there there's no cases where the subconscious mind the trauma was so bad that their subconscious mind actually like threw it in the door and locked it and put it away, like they totally forgot
Now,
it until
now,
something triggers it, a
now,
memory.
that's different. So, what you just brought up for me is, okay, say a person deals with PTSD, that's a whole different thing. So I'm thinking about, hurt in more of somebody did something to me or whatever. But if we slide over to trauma like rape, I'm just gonna go straight to it. Or I don't know, something traumatic. A tornado hit your house when you was 5. Now that's totally different, Mr. Wilson, because sometimes fear of, and I'm not saying they just forget it per se, but fear will lock it away for you. You're afraid to even, deal with it. And a lot of times, Mr. Wilson, even though it's locked away in the subconscious mind, they'll have dreams about it and things like that. They know something's going on, but they don't know how to tap into it. And it's hard to tap into. That's when you really just need to be talking to someone else to help you unveil those things. It's not something I would I would not advise anybody to deal with those type of scenarios by themselves, Mr. Wilson.
Yeah, that happened to my ex-wife.
Yeah,
Real
it's two
trauma.
different things, kind of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's two different things. So, but yeah, trauma, rape, things like that. I'm trying to think of other things that come up. Accidents, car accidents. I've seen people have car accidents. They might not have forgot about it, but they may forgot about one little thing that reminds them or triggers them when they're driving, and then they'll stop driving the rest of their lives. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
you know, I feel like we kind of talking about two different types of thank you. You didn't got me thinking about two different types of past scenarios that we could be struggling with. So I'm gonna tap into both of those today. Thank you, Mr. Wilson.
Thank you.
Okay. So go ahead. I think I saw you, Jamel. You were about to say something.
No, I'm ready for you to tap in. Go ahead. Go ahead and
Oh, okay.
start unpacking the tools. That's what we here for.
Yes. So you sent me this topic, how to make peace with your past, and I just sat on it. I literally sat on it and sat on it. And I like acronyms, y'all. I like to come up with things to make me, because I remember real well when I have something to put it with. And what I came up with for peace, we have to break that thing all the way down and understand that peace comes with so many different variables. So, I came up, peace is Peace. I know y'all know how to spell, but I just had to break it down for myself so I could really deliver it to you. And the first thing we have to do is pray and prepare. And I know this sounds crazy because a lot of people say, oh, this is mental health therapists or psychologists, and they're not supposed to talk about God and all that. But I'm gonna be honest with you, you need that you need some strength and some power to unveil whatever it is you're about to unleash, because pain, hurt, trauma, those things are super powerful negative feelings that can come up with it. And if you're not prepared, then baby, you're not going to be ready you're not going to have your armor on whenever you start feeling all those emotions that's coming up. So I got pray and prepare first, right? For E, I got evaluate. And that's when I went to, you have to unmask yourself, whether it is to stop living in a space where you're lying to yourself, or even like what Mr. Wilson brought up for me, living in a space where you're ignoring things. Because even when you've experienced trauma in some way, you have little tidbits of something that makes you feel off. And I call it intuition or gut feelings. But let's be real, we all have, and a lot of people say, they got the women's intuition. Y'all, that's a lie. Ain't nobody told. Everybody has intuition. It's people intuition. Men have intuition too. So, the thing is, you have to tap into that and stop saying, I feel something. I feel this weird tingly feeling and I'm going to push it away. Unmask yourself, free yourself, find freedom in what you are about to, unveil and work through and, understand about yourself. Because to be honest with you, pain, trauma, hurt, our past, it's a part of you. You use those things once you are able to understand it and why it happened. You use those things to be the magnificent you, the unlimited you. Okay. So we got the P, we got the E. Then the A is you acknowledge and become authentic, right? Because at this point, I know something is going on. I may not know exactly what it is, though. I feel something. I feel that every time I lay down with my wife or my husband, I feel uncomfortable with intimacy. But I don't know why. Something's going on. Or I know that when I was 5 years old, my mom and my dad used to fight all the time, and I saw my dad beat my mom, or my mom even beat my dad, because it ain't just the men, okay? And I put it away because I don't understand why I respond to relationships the way I do now. But I'm gonna put that on the rug. I don't want to deal with that. It hurts too bad. Okay. So now you have to acknowledge and be authentic and understand, okay, this happened, or I'm feeling something. You know, you have so much power. You have God's power within you, but we don't like to tap into it because it's a lot. You know, it's a lot. We don't want to understand and accept the fact that we got that power in us and we can work through anything, but it doesn't always feel great when we're going through it, right? So after you do the, acknowledging and being authentic, you can ask yourself first, why is it still prevalent? Whatever it is that's going on in your past. These are some questions that I thought would be very, very important. Did it get locked away in your subconscious mind? And if it did you lock it away? Was it the trauma, or did you truly lock it away because it hurt too bad and made you feel, that little feeling, it felt like your heart was burning, did you do it, or what really happened? What is the actual control you have in the situation? What part did you play in it? And I think that is what hurts so much, is did it hurt that bad, or why did it hurt that bad? And so I think in this space, I want to stay here for a second. So when you get to acknowledging and being authentic, that's the hardest phase, I think, of peace, right? Because now you're unveiling the things that you have locked away, because you're seeing it. You're seeing it, and you're like, it's there. I'm not gonna put this on the rug anymore. I'm taking my veil off, right? So when you get there, you have to sit in it. And sitting in it may feel like I'm crying, or I'm upset, or I'm angry, or I'm anxious, or I'm depressed. And it doesn't feel like what you want it to feel like. It feels horrible. But anything that you want change in, you want to find life within afterwards, it doesn't feel good. A lot of times you have to go through many storms to get to the rainbow at the end. So you have to acknowledge this. You have to understand this, okay? And okay, so let me go to the next step, because I get stuck there. I'm gonna get back to all of it, but I just want you to know. So we did the P, we did the E, and we did the A. Now we're on to the C. First of all, once you start unveiling, you better learn how to do some caring for yourself, some self-care. And then if you unveil some anger towards some other people, you better start to learn how to care and bring the care from God with you in those moments. C is huge, because when you're dealing with past, you will unveil things that you may not be ready for. God is ready, but you're not ready. So this is why you needed the number one, the prayer and the prepare, because God has the power and is within you. So you might not be ready for caring, because you got to still care and love people at this state. I'm not saying you got to deal with them that may have hurt you, because in some of these past situations, it's other things that you've experienced from other people, and you don't understand why it happened to me, what it means to me, what am I supposed to learn from it? And yes, pain you're supposed to learn from. You're supposed to learn from it. You're supposed to learn from this past situation, whether it was something you didn't ask for or not. It's something that's going to make you as one of my mentors says to me, gooder. It's going to make you be the unveiled, authentic you. Okay. So Karen, oh God, I don't know if you guys have ever found out, dang, they did that to me and I still got to love them. I still got to lay in bed with this man, or it's still got to be my mom and my dad. They still got to be my mom and dad and they hurt me. And I know you guys been there. You know, we done had the hurt where the dad may have not been in a life, or the mom may not have been in your life, or they may not have sold into you the way you needed them to, or you might have had a sibling that hurt you, or a friend that, you know, was a snake, but you thought they was your friend. Come on, somebody. But then you still have
Amen.
to learn. You still got to learn and love them anyway. I ain't said you got to deal with them, that you still got to move. So this Karen phase, it's worse than the acknowledging and being authentic, and because you like, because that's when the human side of us is like, oh no, oh no, you know. Okay, now now after you did all this work, now you got to find existence. And at first I was like, I don't know if I want to use exist, because I feel like exist is just sitting in it and not doing anything. But then I was like, no, let me look at the definition. Let me look at the definition. The state of living, survival. You done survived that past. Y'all listen. I was like, exist, that's like, oh, I'm settling. No. The state of living, I felt that in my spirit. That's freedom. That's living the way, that's the true living my best life. I'm a survivor. Ain't that what Destiny Child said? You done survive. And to truly survive, you actually do the work. You do the work. Oh, Kim, I love you, baby. Thank you. You do the work when you survive. You do the work when you survive. Now I want everybody real quick to unmute and say, I'm a survivor. We ain't gonna sound like Destiny Child, but we gonna say, I'm a survivor.
I'm a
I'm a
survivor.
survivor.
I'm a survivor.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, now I want to go back through all this, and I want to tell y'all about something that's gonna sound real mediocre, right? I was on Instagram a couple days ago, and I didn't know this was gonna be for you guys, and I'm just looking like, what is she doing? You know, sometimes when I'm on Instagram, I'm like, what's going on? Because let's be honest, we all do it. We laugh, and then we're like, what's going on? You know? And so this girl, I love watching her motivational videos, but when I say I've never seen her with nothing less than, you know, weave down her hair, down to her behind and all that stuff, but she had clippers and she was cutting her hair bald. And so automatically I was like, does she have cancer or something? This is the human side of me. Instead of really knowing what's really going on or reading the caption, I done came up with whatever I want to comment up with. And we can stop doing that to ourselves. When it comes to dealing with past situations, that comes into how we perceive things too. So I automatically perceive this is what I want to perceive it as, based off the fact that I know in the past people had cancer and they were bald. But that doesn't mean that this young lady was going bald because she was, you know, had cancer. You know, so just a good example of, we have to deal with that past stuff because it's gonna mess up how we perceive our future if we don't take hold of it, right? So anyway, she has this clipper and she cutting her hair on live, cutting her hair bald. I'm talking about like Mr. Clean, okay? And so she said, I'm freeing myself. What? I'm freeing myself. She was freeing herself from anything outside of what she needed. She said, I don't need the wigs. I don't need the makeup. I don't need the lashes. I don't need them neither, y'all, but I got them on this morning. I like it, okay? But listen, she freed herself of the worldly things that we feel like we got to have to feel like we somebody. You already somebody.
I freed myself too. You see my picture? Not by choice.
You look like Mr. Clean.
It wasn't by choice though.
It wasn't by choice.
No.
But y'all, I'm telling you, that thing set with my spirit though, because I couldn't imagine the type of freedom she felt after doing this. But you guys, I want y'all to understand God sends us signs and those intuition, that gut feeling. And I'm gonna tell you, I went on a trip. I just got back. Jarmel knows I was in Biloxi, and y'all not gonna judge me. I was having a good time. But a friend of mine, she cut off all her hair. Y'all see the connections here? I didn't know I was supposed to talk to y'all about cutting hair this morning. No, it's bigger than that, y'all. It's being free. Peace brings freedom. So she cut her hair off. She said, I like it. I said, I like it too. She said, but bigger, like I like it. And I said, you know what? Do you feel like relieved? She said, absolutely. I'm not bounded by whatever societal norms are anymore. I'm free. Okay, so I know y'all like, what direction is she going with this? Let's go backwards. Freedom, peace. Okay, they go hand in hand for me. I can't have peace without my freedom, and I can't have my freedom without my peace, right? So with God's power, we can take that time to evaluate. Now, let me tell you something. If you find yourself in spaces that don't feel comfortable, ask yourself why. And I know it happens to you. It probably happened to you at least once a month. You probably feel something that doesn't feel not necessarily bad or good, but just feel different, right? Tap into it. Stop ignoring it. Why? Is this something I'm supposed to do differently? Am I supposed to be putting this toward this new existence of life? Because I'm dealing with me. And did you hear me say I'm dealing with me? How to make peace with your past. Your past. You own it. You have to own it. So if somebody did something to you, stop saying, I blame you for raping me. I know it's hard. I blame you for hurting me. I blame you for the way I am now. How can I take what somebody did to me like that? Something like somebody beating me. They did this to me. I didn't ask for it. And I still have to embrace this as my own. That's how you take control back and find peace. Peace. If you can't control it and use it, and what I mean by use it, you didn't go through a domestic violence situation. Men and women go through domestic violence, whether the men are being beat or the woman is being beat. I've seen it, right? And let me tell y'all something real quick. Sometimes, if you look at statistics, more men get beat by us women than women by men because men don't speak up. They feel like they're a wuss. Y'all, listen. If they tell you that a woman and beat on them, you're not a wuss. You embrace the fact that this has happened to you. Hold on, Jarmel. Let me get this out real quick. And
I want you to finish. Then I'm gonna say I just want to put it up there in knowledge.
You embrace what has happened to you. Okay, let me tell you. If someone has hurt you and you can find a way to use that hurt to sow a seed into someone else, there's a different type of freedom in that. Okay, I'm not saying don't that they didn't do it or they didn't hurt you, but don't get stuck in blaming them for it. You still, I'm about to say it, have to use God's love, the strength that God has given you to get through that. You still, I've seen it on TV where somebody's loved one's been murdered and they still get up on the stand and say, I'm still going to send you love through God, despite what you've done. I've seen it and I'm like, ooh, they got a power I don't have. Yes, I got it. You know, you guys, the pain we go through is to make us, as my mentor says, gooder. And it doesn't define who you are. And it doesn't get to tell you that you can't have peace. It doesn't get to tell you that you can't be free despite this. It doesn't get to tell you that you're going to be stuck here for the rest of your life. It doesn't get to control you. So I'm sorry. You can't keep blaming that other person, because in order to get through it, you have to take your control back. Go ahead, Jarmel.
No, I'm listening intently to what you're saying, I had stopped so I could take these notes. But when you kept reiterating, first I want to say this: when you were talking about the men being beat up, my cousin, actually, I was talking with him, and he's saying there's a lot of times men, you may not be physically being beat up by the woman, but you may be verbally and emotionally being beat up. Because typically that's what occurs. Is it may not be physical with men. Men may be physically doing it to women, but sometime with women, it's the emotional and mental beating and punching and cutting and stabbing and throwing down of you. And I'll let you touch on that, because I mean you're a professional in that area. But then you also kept saying making peace with your past. And when you said that, how important is it to us when we're making peace with our past or your past? Because oftentimes I think we can find ourselves trying to make peace, but also wanting the other person's past to be peace at the same time for us to have peace. Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes sense.
Like, I want to make peace with my past, but if her past or his past ain't at peace, then I feel like I'm doing them wrong. But it's all up in this equation. I brought this topic for us to make peace with our past. It doesn't make really, we're not thinking about the other person when it comes to this.
Exactly.
So go ahead.
Listen, I tried to come up
But
with
it's men out there getting physically beat too.
Oh yes.
I got a cousin.
I got
a cousin getting beat. I got a cousin getting beat right now by his girl.
Yeah.
But he won't leave.
Let me tell you something, Mr. Wilson, on that note real quick. I went and I spoke at this. I did a panel in Montgomery. It was at a place that focused, a nonprofit that focused on domestic violence. And when I tell you guys, this thing about men being beat by women is huge. It's bigger than what we know. Okay. And, I'm not saying that what I'm saying is collectively, we have to look at the bigger picture and stop thinking it's just a thing that happens to just women. And no, but men have so much pressure on them to be hard, to be our kings. Who said a king can't cry? Who said a king can't have emotion? Who said a king? And I think it's the fear of, am I going to be seen a certain way if I release it? But I'm going to tell you guys something real quick, and I'm going to share this. It's definitely a little bit off subject, but kind of not. I know someone who was in an abusive relationship, a man, and he thinks he thought that he couldn't tell anybody. No police, he didn't want to, no whatever, nobody, even if it was his friends. Because I get it, some people don't want to get involved with the police. I get it. But maybe you could ask a friend to help you get out that situation, or a therapist, or somebody, And so this guy was dealing with this and kept ignoring it. And this is weird. I have two situations where I've seen this happen in the last couple of months. Needless to say, the girl ran over him with the car and he had to have one of his legs amputated. And in the other situation, the guy was stabbed to death. Okay. So now you can't say, well, the guy that passed away can't say what was happening. Speak before you can't speak anymore, because women are strong now. Don't think.
Yeah, I know. Women are strong. I had a situation with my daughter's mom where she tried to stab me. She tried to run me over too. And I called the cops on her. And when the cops got there, the cops asked her, "Man, did he hit you?" I'm like, "I'm the one that called you." "Man, did he hit you?" "Yeah, I said, "Man, she hit me. She tried to stab me." He's like, "Boy, please. She tried to stab you." And they put me in handcuffs. But my daughter had to tell them, "No, it wasn't my dad. It was my mom." And that's why they took the handcuffs off me. But they made me leave with my daughters. They didn't arrest her, nothing. They made me leave with my daughters for the night.
And we got to stop that, Mr. Wilson. We have to support everybody that goes through things like this. It's stigma around this topic that people do not talk about enough. I don't hear anybody talk about this, y'all. What we're talking about right now I'm going to write it down and I'm going to talk about it. Some type of form has to happen from it because we don't talk about this enough. And there should be some type of even training for police. If you're stuck in 1800s, and let's be real, men were beat back in the day. They just didn't say nothing about it. No, let's not get it twisted. Everybody's not the same. Everybody's mannerism is not the same. So just because this picture was painted that all men were just beating and, slapping their women, that doesn't mean every man was like that, And then you have these people now that when you think back, they think back to what they've gone through. Ooh, you got me back to past again. Remember what I said earlier? You perceive things based off your past. Whoever did that to you, Mr. Wilson, whatever police officer did that to you, they perceived you as such because of their own past experiences. Come on, somebody. It came back. Okay, Jarmel, you said, how can we focus on our past and stop worrying about, I'm gonna ask the question again. I want y'all to hear what I just said. How can we focus on our past and not feel like we have to focus on someone else's? Okay, let me repeat it again. Catch the words. Y'all hear me? Y'all hear me? Say amen if you hear me.
Amen.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna say it again because y'all the teacher too today.
Amen. Right. Let's go. Let's go, Dr. Sasha.
How can I deal with how can you deal with how can I deal with my past instead of dealing with someone else's? Okay, we said someone else. My past. Someone else. My past. Okay. All right. Focus on yourself. In this moment, and I'm going to say it like it is, you need to be selfish. You can't be selfless and dealing with past. Somebody's past. First of all, you don't know the ins and outs. You don't know what they're feeling. You don't know what the emotions are. You don't know what led to this. You don't know why they put in the subconscious mind. You don't know. And stop getting caught up and worried about what somebody else need to do and focus on yourself. I mean, I know it was straightforward, but Jarmel, that's simple as that. Focus on yourself.
No, that's good. That's good. But I mean, here's the reason I'm asking these questions intentionally for the community in a whole, because the power of letting go. And I told them this is probably the most valuable month to me out of this whole time that I've been doing Wake Up in Love, because we're transitioning into next year. And Hassani, one of my dear friends, he taught about letting go of guilt and shame. And every conversation this month is intentional, because as we transition into new year, some people will be going into new relationships. Some people may be deciding or trying to make a decision if I should stay in a relationship. And the letting go phase is like, oh man, I don't know if I could do it. But one of those things we got to do, and that topic we were talking about this morning, is I got to make peace with my past before I let go of anything.
Absolutely.
It's essential. It's so essential, guys, because I've seen it where I've talked to singles and couples where even as a single, the person's moving on through life, but they haven't made peace with their past. So they're frustrated. They're discombobulated. They don't go out as much. They got a stigma. Maybe all men ain't this and all women are like this and all men are like this. The couples together, they really don't want to be together because each one of them haven't made peace with their past. And it's a lot of confusion. And going into next year in this community, I'm not letting none of y'all go into the next year without making peace in your past and letting go of certain things.
Y'all listen, that's a word right there. What'd you say, Mr. Wilson?
Well, I was going to say, and can it be the opposite way too? Make your peace with your past by something you did to somebody?
Oh,
and then you go back because I know when I was younger, I grew up hard. I didn't really care about life, so I could admit I was a dog. Once I started finally getting females, because they always wanted my cousins because they was light skinned. I'm dark skinned. Back in the days, everybody wanted somebody to look like Al B. Shore.
Listen, we like chocolate brothers now, so yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's why I've been trying to tell Jamel, chocolate brothers in now. They like the Bobby Browns now. Keep Sweats. But but yeah, so I went back and you know, I finally met somebody and I got hurt. And I went back and called my ex-girlfriends and I apologized for the way I was, you know, because I hurt some women, and they actually they was like, man, I appreciate that, and it made me go feel at peace because I actually called and apologized after it happened to me.
Listen, y'all heard him. It made me feel at peace. Yes, Mr. Wilson, you do. I said your past. Your past doesn't mean it could be you did the hurt. Because don't you know that you probably hurt them because you were hurt? You said you were hurt because they was looking, you didn't say this, but I'm gonna say this and make y'all laugh. You said you was hurt because they were looking at Al B. Shore and Terrence Howard them and not looking at you, the chocolate brother. So you decided you was gonna hurt all the women, you know, hurt, misery loves company, you know, so you were hurt.
Yeah, it was that, but then I also realized I had, you know, issues, you know, because I had issues with my mom.
Okay.
She chose drugs over me and my sister.
Okay.
And I didn't have a father. Even though my grandmother showed me love, but they say your mom is the first person a man supposed to love when you're born.
Thank you.
But I just realized that from this group that I had mother issues and father issues. So
Mr. Wilson, I want to say thank you for real. Because I think what it is the fact that you're willing to, you have a testimony. You do. Because the fact that you were able to just say all that you just said, the issues with your mom, the issues with your dad, and being able to find alignment with what you were doing and then finding peace in it. Because you still I'm sure you prepared yourself, evaluate what had gone on, acknowledged it. You cared enough to call your ex to let them know my bad, you know?
yeah, it was like about 4 of them.
Not 4. Okay, it's all right. No judgment. No judgment here. You was living what you thought was your best life, but now you really live. You're in existence stage. You're in the state of being, the state of living. You're survived now, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, guys. Now I know Jarmel probably like she talk. Okay, listen. I want you to take back your life. And I think that how to make peace is the first foremost we have to understand is ours. The past is ours. Our life, the current is ours. The future is ours. But if you don't take control of the basis, then you can't take control of the current and you can't take control of the future. We all talk about needing a foundation, whether it's in our marriages or with ourselves or with whatever. And isn't the foundation before you even got into a marriage, before you even got this job, before you even did anything, had kids, the foundation, the beginning was you created with power from God. It was you. It started with you. But we give too much credit to the hurt, whether it was hurt we caused or hurt that someone caused on us. We have to take our power back. So I have something I want us to say. We're gonna do an affirmation together, and then I'm gonna let y'all ask y'all questions. I want y'all to unmute.
Everybody unmute, please. Listen, and the reason I'm saying everybody unmute because once again, we leave these calls and there's instructions being given right now, and then sometimes we could end up in the same cycle or same position. And a lot of times we get information, but we don't apply it. So if you can unmute, please unmute.
Okay. All right. Say, I am the healing power.
I am the healing power
Of
I am the
God.
healing power
of God.
of God.
And He is working on me right now.
And He is working on me
Working on me right now.
I am getting better and better every day.
I am
I
getting
am
better
getting better and
and
better
better
every day.
How do you feel after saying that?
I feel good.
Okay. 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 All right, y'all. We have to embrace that for real. That's some real stuff, okay? And I just said, we're going to affirm ourselves this morning. We're going to remind ourselves what God has already put in us. Take control back of your life. Okay, all right, I'm done saying it. I done said it 1,000 times. What questions y'all have for me?
Wow, let's go, guys. If anybody got any questions while Dr. Sasha is available this morning, please don't hesitate to ask. If it's really an in-depth question that you don't want to share, if it's something more personal, then you can definitely email it to me or message it and I'll get it to her. But any questions right now while she is available?
Do you believe in meditation?
Absolutely.
I'm trying to figure out what's the best way I go about meditating.
Mr. Wilson, I'm going to tell you something that a lot of people ain't going to tell you, okay? I'm going to ask you a question first. Why do you want to meditate?
I feel like meditation will get me back rooted, and I kind of just want to. I'm on this new healing journey, so I kind of just want to heal myself from within. And I hear meditation works. You know, just taking time out to be within yourself and be with God.
All right, let me tell you something. I just had to ask you that because a lot of people, they want to meditate just because they see other people doing it. But I knew Mr. Wilson had a reason. Okay. So God does a lot of really interesting things in my life. And I met a guy, I don't know what his actual title would have been, but he is I guess in our world, we would say maybe a prophet. But he is more so in the lane of Buddhism. And he was the first person to tell me that meditation is not just sitting down like what we see and just, it's not what we see. Meditating can come in whatever form you need it to come in. So your way of meditating may be unique for you. My form may be unique for me. Jarmel's may be unique for him. So what works for me, Mr. Wilson, is I learned that sitting down trying to clear my mind doesn't necessarily work for me all the time. I can do it now, but I come from loudness. I work well in confliction, honestly. Maybe that's why I'm a psychologist. So when I had to shut my mind down, it wasn't working. So some people, that type of meditating that we see doesn't necessarily work. So what I do now is I pray. And when I meditate, I am more so grounding myself. And I don't know if you guys have ever heard of grounding, but I go outside, and I don't know if y'all from the country, but I'm from the country. I go outside. I do not have my shoes on. I go and I get it. I'm in the grass. If I go hiking and it's warm enough, I'm going to tell you something. The biggest form of meditation I have gained was taking a hike by myself. And y'all, let me tell you, I was scared of the lions and tigers and bears. And I didn't think I had the power in me. I was like, Lord, my power gone, okay? But I did have the power. I walked about 30 minutes in to this Sweetwater Creek. And I went to the Whitewater Rapids. And it might not be 30, maybe 25 minutes, something like that. But I walked in by myself, took my shoes off by the Whitewater Rapids. And I said, thank you, God. Thank you, Sasha. Thank you, God. Thank you, Sasha. Like, you have to say thank you to yourself, and you have to say thank you to God, and you have to be free, and you have to do it by yourself. I realize a lot of times we think that we got to do it in a group or something, and maybe you need a little help at first, but my help I found was me doing that and being by the water, in the trees, in one with nature, because this was God all around me. Listen, it's a different type of feeling, Mr. Wilson. So yes, I believe in meditation, but I also believe you make it unique for you. Don't think that there's a specific way that you have to do it. You have to do it in a way that brings your mind peace. Some people do it by listening to music. I did a meditation with a lady one morning where she had it was called loud meditation. She had Beyonce playing in the background, but was saying affirmations as we were meditating. So find out what works for you, Mr. Wilson. That's my response to that. Any other questions, guys?
But by you saying that, I actually believe I already been doing it because I know when I go to the water is the place of peace for me. So
You already doing it. I promise you already doing it. That's what made me ask you why. You already doing it. Any other questions, guys?
Any other questions, guys, while Dr. Sasha is present? Any questions before I ask mine? Assume everybody good. Okay, I got a question. What does that look like, Sasha, that first step with making peace with your past, whatever that past may have been, because everybody's past is different. Everybody's traumatic experience may be different. Everybody's challenge, obstacle, overcoming, whatever they overcame. What does that first step look like for somebody that's like, okay, I'm about to go make peace with my past, with this past relationship, with this past thing I did to myself? What would that first step look like for somebody to take?
The first term that comes to my head is honestly, to be real with you, even when you go through the process and you're about to make that step to go and free yourself, the first thing that you're going to probably feel is confliction. You're going to be dealing with, it's funny, last time you brought me on here I was talking about grief, I think. You will be dealing with the grief that you have within yourself because you're frustrated with yourself. You'll be bargaining with yourself. Like, do I have to do this? Oh, can I do that? Do I have the power to do this? Do I just want to sweep it up on a rug? But when you take that step, baby, it's the release of a different, it's like you're breathing in a new, I don't know if Mr. Wilson know what I'm talking about, because when he said he did it, he went and talked to one of his exes. And it's like you feel new. You feel like you feel like new, this new feeling. But at first it's confliction. You said the first step is confliction. And then once you finally get yourself built up, because you done did all the other work, you just now about to say, I'm sorry to myself, or I'm sorry to other people, whatever you're about to do. And I'm sorry for the other people. It's not for the other people, it's for you, by the way. And then you find this new breath of fresh air. That's what I'm gonna say, Dark. I mean, I'm gonna leave it with that. That's what I'm gonna say.
I like that you actually go ahead, Mr. Wilson.
And yeah, like you said, when I did that, and I was prepared. I was prepared for them to say "F you," I was prepared for all that because you might not get the response you want, But I felt when I did it, I felt new. I felt proud, and I felt like, man, I'm mature and I'm on some grown man stuff right here.
You sure were. I love it.
So yeah, it made me feel good. But then when they responded the way they did, that made me even feel even better. Like, okay, they was like, yeah, I appreciate that. Like, because I really cared about you. But she's like, they knew my childhood. So, but they was like, well, we glad that you're doing better mentally, and we glad that you working things through with your mom. But I felt new. I felt good.
Yeah,
the word that comes to mind with me is rejuvenation.
Yeah. Oh, yes, ma'am. That's a good one right there, Kim.
Yeah, because when you first go through it, you feel all of the different pain, and then when you let it go, you release, you make peace with all of it. You feel that energy rejuvenated to just, I can do this now.
Yep, I can. A lot of times you feel like you can do anything after you do something that you think you thought was huge, but it was just this little thing you had to do, and now you feel like I can just take over this world now. Jarmel?
That's good. Let me ask you guys this: who can with everything we've been talking about, I want to hear you guys. Who's making steps as we're closing out this month? Because we only got a few weeks left in the year to make peace with their past. Well, like I said, whatever that past is, if you guys can say I am. I mean, or if you even want to describe what that thing is. I mean, you don't have to, but if you like to. But while we're closing out, who's making peace with their past as we close out this year?
I'm making peace with my past. It doesn't have a lot to do with different relationships of people, but it has to do with how I've over the years sabotaged myself. with just different things. It could be even weight. It could be the thing of not believing in myself, even though I have confidence, I have a high self-esteem, but just different things that have happened over the years. It was other people, I would say, doing things to me, but I allowed them to do some of those things to me. Okay. So basically taking ownership of what I allowed them to do and getting Kim back. Because I'm a survivor. I
Yes,
can do
ma'am.
anything that I want to do. But I put obstacles in front of me to make me feel like I can't do it. But I can. I just got to get myself out the way.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it.
Anybody
You a
else?
survivor. We know you a survivor girl with them set it off curls right there. You.
Not
I'm gonna
set
get
it
my
off,
set it back.
I love it.
But yeah, I'm making peace. I'm making peace with my mom since I've been in here, and I felt like I made peace with my dad, but I'm still working on because he's not here for me to even talk to anymore. So like to try to make that peace or hear what I needed to hear. I'm kind of still punishing myself for that because the day he died, he actually called me, but I was being stubborn because he was never in my life. But then when he tried to be, it was like I was making more of an effort than he was, and he called me one night and I didn't answer the phone. And then 3 hours later, my cousin called me and told me he died. So I've been kind of punishing myself for like, man, you could have listened to everything. He probably was going to tell you everything that you wanted to hear, but you was being stubborn. So I kind of wrote a letter, like a pissed off letter, like trying to, express how I felt to him. So that's something I'm still working on right now, how to forgive myself for not answering the phone and just always feeling like, why wasn't I loved, like from him?
Wow.
So I'm working on that.
Well, you keep doing the work. I'm pretty sure you'll find.
You have any suggestions about that?
That one's hard, Mr. Wilson. It's different. It takes time. So it's not one of those things where you're gonna say, "Oh, I'm gonna go into 2024 and I'm not gonna be upset with myself." That's one of those things that may resurface again for you. That's your dad, So it's different, But what I say is, first you got to accept the fact that it's nothing wrong with you being angry with your father. You were upset with your father, and I think that sometimes when people pass away, we feel like we're not allowed to still be angry. So first accept that you were angry with him. So you were just angry, and that's the truth. And then accept the fact that at the same time, you were being stubborn. You said that. Free yourself from the truth. The truth is not by saying lie, but what I'm saying is free yourself from the things that is just true. That's realistic. Don't beat yourself up for what is real. That's real. But I bet what's also real is the fact that you wanted to have a loving relationship with him, right? What's also real is that you just wanted to be his son. What's also real is that you wanted to be able to love on him. What's also real is you probably wanted to play basketball with him. What's also real is that you wanted to just get a hug from him. What's also real is that you wish you could have heard his voice that day. So you were focused on all the things that were negative, but let's shift the focus on all the things that's real as well, is that you wanted this type of relationship with him. You yearn for this relationship with him, which is beautiful, Mr. Wilson. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I hope I didn't make you cry, but it's the truth.
Deep thought, because I was his first, but then I got two brothers, and I got like 6 sisters on his side, and they don't talk to me because they said he always told them I wasn't their brother. Even though I went to the funeral and we acted like brothers and sisters that day, they don't want to have nothing to do with me.
And you can't control that. Remember, we can only deal with what we can control. That means they got some work they got to work on. You ain't got nothing to do with it. But what you deal with what you got to deal with, and that's you, your emotions, your feelings, your pain, your hurt. You heard me say all of this is yours, Mr. Wilson.
Yeah, and then the crazy part is, I thought we was getting close. My brother's a tattoo artist, so he's like, let's all get Dad's name tattooed on us. So I'm like, okay, cool. I thought it was a bonding moment. I got his name tattooed on my back when he was born and when he died, and they didn't even do it.
Wow.
But I got it on my back.
Well, you didn't do it for them. You did it for him.
I know.
And honestly, you probably did it for you.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the ways that you made peace. I know this is not my show here, but that's one of your ways that you made peace. You brought something important to you, even though it was something that was supposed to be a bonding thing with brother and sister, but it was important enough. And right there shows you're healing right there.
Yes.
And that's one of your healing ways. You wearing that man with you every day.
Yep.
Your blood is already running through you every day. When I first met you, I told you, make peace with that. You all good. You've done your part. You tried to cultivate that relationship. In the end, they got to do their part. You made the first step.
Absolutely.
That's your peace right there.
Wow. Well, this is group therapy right here taking place. Dr. Sasha Johnson, man, I really appreciate you. I thank you so much. I thank you guys in the community for showing up for yourself first and foremost and taking these steps to make peace with your past and let go. Dr. Sasha, is there anything you want to say to the community before we close? I thank you again. I'm sorry we went 10 minutes about at a time.
Listen, this was God's work, Jarmel. Don't apologize for that.
Yeah. Listen, guys, man, this is how we do it. This is how we do it, man. And just like Mr. Wilson, Kimberly, Lamar, man, when we one of the steps, taking the step just to get on the call, man, is a part of making that peace with your past and allowing Dr. Sasha to pour into us this morning, man. You did an amazing job. Very simplistic, practical, but profound at the same time. And I thank you very much. Anybody want to say anything? Did this help you guys this morning as we're closing out? You guys good?
This
I'm
was
good.
a very
Yeah.
powerful session, and I really did enjoy it. I just want
to say thank you, Ms. Johnson.
You're welcome. You're so welcome.
Awesome. So until next time, guys, continue to wake up in love, and I'll get the recording from Sasha, and it will be posted on the members portal this evening for you guys to view it again. And I'll text you, Dr. Sasha, with how to get it to me. All right.
Okay, no problem. You guys have an amazing week. Okay.
you do the same.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.